got the truck up here on the hoist. Got our boy Maxwell wandering around. We just undid the transmission. We run a power glide in this truck. And we are going to be changing the stator in this little unit here.
So another important thing is you always have to have a race,
for the
a bearing and a race. Never touches the turbine. You see how he has it? And there's the turbine. So it's always sandwiching.
So you can't, that bearing
It's never
doesn't wear that
touching
out.
here.
Yep.
And let's see if he shims these. Same thing back here. You'll have an erase. And he has a shim. Okay, so here's the deal. This clearance is measured.
Okay.
But you can go from front to back, but it always has to have the same amount. Like if you take one of these out, see how you only need to sandwich the two, like I said, right?
The
So
rest
now
are all
you
shims.
can go away from the drive cover, which will loosen it, and behind it puts the stator closer and tightens it.
Gotcha.
Okay? So all his converters, that's how I was just wondering if he does it with these. So these are just extra shim, and these are the same here. See, mine is two different sizes. What's nice is this is the same. So we're gonna leave this the way it was though.
Because there's nothing there.
Right, but you can take these and go on this side
And
then put that in, and now you push the stator away from the turbine.
And that
And now
loosens
it
it?
loosens it, but not a lot. Like you know, each shim is probably 25, maybe 40. You know.
I don't know that.
So if you get something that's real close, then you can start to mess with it. Or you can even just take it apart and just loosen it up 75 RPM quick. You don't have to have another stator. But I would have a bunch of stators, you know? Like one softer and one, you know, tighter than what you actually need. All right, so we're gonna put this back. So we have, this is our shim.
Yep.
And now we have
That's the one that
shim.
was back there. I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because these are the same, but we'll it'll be the same. So it'll be.
So shim.
So the
bearing.
three is actually your shim pack that's telling it what to do, and now you're just gonna go
That's
that
pretty basic.
bearing, and that, and that's it.
And they just, the races for the bearing are so the bearing doesn't ride on anything but the hardened steel.
Right,
Yep.
and that's
Okay.
it. So that'll take care of that. Where's that red rag? It's right here.
The red one.
Oh.
The t-shirts are probably have less shit on them.
Okay, another thing. Right is right.
Okay.
Clockwise, that's looking down from the pump, because that's what everybody makes that mistake. You see how it turns to the right and locks. Okay,
It has to go
that's your
right as
sprite.
right.
So you look down in the hole. This part turns clockwise.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
if
your
it
one way?
if it turns the other way, you put it in upside down.
Gotcha.
So if you just know those two things, you never
You can't
screw it
fuck
up.
with it. Yeah.
You know. I'm gonna have to get my glasses.
So you said yours is aluminum, like this?
Yeah, it's light, you know? Everything's for light, but these are better. And this has a little more inertia, so it just depends.
It's purdy.
It is.
It's purdy.
Oh, he's badass. Like I just told him we have that big pro, you know, thing this next weekend. So I said I need 4 stators because I got 4 cars running, and just give me steps. He yells out the door to the guys, and they're on the CNC freaking making them. In a day he makes them, they're mailed out. It'll be in my house tomorrow. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's badass. But I'm running 4 cars with the same freaking converter with different stators, so I don't have to run my car like crazy.
40 degree.
Yeah, so the first number is the vane count, and the
20.
second number
Yeah, it
is
says-
the degrees.
It says pump side 20 vane 40 degree.
You're gonna have to
20 vane 40 degree. This
this
one's
one's-
20 vane 40 or 35 degree. Ooh,
Not much of a difference. Minor.
5 degrees.
Okay.
That's what I like to
Two
use.
flat plates.
Yeah, you get it started, and then you get this under it.
Yep. And
Pops
just
right
pop
out.
it off.
Yep. And most of his point down, like this one does.
Yep.
So that's another way, you know, the open part is down, flats are up. But if you just do that turning thing, you won't fuck up. It's good. It's really pretty simple.
So now we're putting this one.
Yeah, so let's see. So I like to put the bottom one in. He gave you new ones. Pump side. Pump side. So that's your front side. And these things are tight, so you got to kind of work them. And if they don't ever go in these, there's like a burr behind it. Like this one ain't going, so there could be that one went. It's real tight. See how
Yep.
tight the clearances are?
Okay, so we're done with this one?
Yep.
Okay.
That pump piece down. And you know, you run 8th, so you might want to try the spragless. Did he try to get you the spragless yet?
No.
So that's no sprag here, solid.
Okay.
So the only downside of a spragless is in the quarter mile, this freewheel's like about 3/4 of the way down the track, so it'll slow down your mile an hour a bit.
Gotcha.
But in an 8th, it really has no downside, and these break. You know, not on a car like yours because you don't have a lot of grip.
Yeah.
But on like a, you know, like a car that just
Yeah,
does
like a
the
radial
burnout
prep.
wrong, it'll
Yeah.
fucking, it'll break these. So a lot of guys will try them, and if the car works just as fast, then he'll see that bottom push out.
Yep.
And usually, I didn't bring my. That'll work. And that's it.
All right, put the ring back
Yeah,
on.
I'll put. Did he give you any?
Well, again, that one came with the
Yeah,
new
so
one.
we can do that one. I mean, they're fine. You can reuse them, no problem. And get used to doing this. I fucking do this all day.
Oh yeah, no,
Pull my
absolutely.
transmission all fucking time. You know, because you might go to a track and make a stator change. You know.
Yep. Well, that's why I bought this.
Yeah, it's the
More
only way to go.
adjustability.
It's the only way to go. You know, anything else, the guy's just guessing. You know. It takes work. And this makes all the difference, especially in no prep.
Oh, 100%.
You know, you just
Yeah, before we were running the PTC, like I said, the solid converter, but we were blowing through the converter and there was no way
Yeah.
to change it other than sending it to them.
Yep.
So, it was a good converter, nothing wrong with it, just wasn't for my application.
So that's right.
Yep,
Okay. And then we got our shims. Always a solid
then a bearing.
bearing and a solid.
Yep.
And then pump side. Pump side. And there you go. Now the trick. This is the shitty part.
Okay.
The fucking O-ring. The goddamn O-rings. You need a third hand, so you're here. But doing this by yourself is a pain in the ass.
Okay.
So the blue side is out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna need you. We'll clean this up real good so it don't slip. There's no way to stretch it over. You have to fucking run your finger and do it.
And then
I wish it was an
hold
O.
parts of it.
Yeah, and then you have to make sure it's flat, and that's why you look for that blue.
Yep.
It'll tell you that you didn't flip it and it's not, and it's flat. 2 other, and just snug it so it can't lift. Because once, if you put this down and pick it up, that O-ring is fucked
Yeah, it'll
up,
flip.
you know?
Okay.
Top bearing, and it's always this case bearing on his,
Okay.
is the top. And that gets your clearance. Like this is going to ride on the pump side cover. So you got to always have the shims. You can move them between the bottom and the top, like I said, but they always have to be that amount.
They're the same.
Because he's already made those clearances.
Gotcha. Makes sense. What's this extra? So now you just got to line it up with the 2 pins, right?
Yeah, so
and
it's usually pretty offset, so it's easy to see it. Before you never even touch it down, you just take a look. So that is the way. Let me just check the gasket one more time. And you just plop it down and don't re-look at it, because it'll pull it out. If you pull it up.
So you want to put 4 bolts first? Tighten
Just
those
not
down?
tighten.
Oh, just snug?
Just so it can't rise.
Gotcha.
Barely snug, because if you want that pin to center it,
Yep.
but you don't want it to lift the gasket.
Gotcha.
So just touch it. And then we're gonna lay it down. This piece of wood is perfect too. And
Was
you can
made
drive
for
this
this.
back in.
And that centers the
That
converter.
just centered your converter. That's why these things don't have any weights on them.
Here.
And that is the procedure. And you'll get real good at it.
Well, absolutely. For you, it must be. Doesn't take long at all, I'd imagine.
You know, like usually if you're driving through the, I'll take a look at the log, but
Yeah.
you might need more pump, and he can make another pump
Okay.
to put on this. He just needs the whole thing because he has to do it to that pin right there.
Gotcha. So roughly every degree is 100 RPM?
Around, depending
Around,
on the car.
yeah.
Like if it's a nitrous car, it's probably less. But
Gotcha.
like a turbo car, yeah, I think probably like in a
Do you
start
do it like
pattern,
anything
start
else?
pattern,
Yeah, like doing bead locks or
And I like to
anything
kind
else?
of do the pin sides first.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I do. And remember, this is all like aluminum. I think this is all aluminum, you know?
Yeah.
So the dry side, so you're working with aluminum all the time, so just
Yeah, don't
remember
go
that.
crazy, hit it with the gun. Or,
Right, you just, you
Jam 'em
just bring
through.
it down like a tiny bit, you know?
Yeah. So you just want to snug it up first.
Yeah, just barely.
Yeah. It's basically just crushing the rubber.
Yep.
Gotcha.
But really the hardest part is that stupid freaking gasket.
Yeah.
But it does work if you know what you're doing it. You just need another hand. When I do it by myself, it's always a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I need a third hand to hold that one part.
Yeah.
Now, do you pre-fill this before you put it back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just enough to go, you know, to like here.
Yeah.
Let's clean this thing good too, because you want to see if it's leaking when you fill it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I usually hang it in the car, you know, and I run it quarter, a quarter, and a quarter, let it sit. And you can see if you got a leak, you know.
I'd imagine that doesn't happen very often.
No, I never had one, but it just
Yeah. Good practice.
A leak at 185 is
Yeah, it's not
scary.
good. Yeah. 100%. Back at the shop, just put the tranny back in the truck. It's been a couple rough nights.
Yeah, rough. Yeah.
We got
Oh.
a good old 14 volt battery powering an Air Motive 1000 to fill our tranny pan.
Takes about a minute to pump 8
Yeah.
quarts.
Pumps about 8 quarts a minute. Why, you may ask? Because we're lazy. That's why. This is how it goes.